Hey, PD Patillo here, and today I want to talk about some things that I wouldn't normally discuss. But I have a son that was in Spain this week. He'll be there for a few months to study. And if you saw in the news last night, there were protests throughout Europe and in 5 major cities within Spain. And it seems that the reason for these protests that are taking place are due to the government imposing various austerities upon the people. I'm not sure I used that word properly, but I do know that the reason the people were striking were called Anti-Austerity. It's against the government's austerity measures. Austerity means strictness, financial strictness. Let's see, I wrote it down from the internet. In economics, austerity is a policy of deficit cutting, lower spending, and the reduction in the amount of benefits and public services provided. Governments use this to reduce their deficit spending while increasing taxes to pay back the creditors. Well, that sounds familiar. I grew up in the 70s, and I remember the energy crisis that was taking place at that time, and I remember the cost of the gases and oils went up. I forgot how much. I know that they used to, it's been over $2 for so long now, I don't remember how much gas used to cost, but I know that it was difficult on my parents. They also imposed a lower speed limit so that we would decrease our fuel consumption, or to help save some of it. And they realized their need for being able to depend upon themselves more for their fuel, but they also kind of got more involved with the Middle East and befriending them. But nonetheless, we survived that energy crisis. But today, I'm more concerned because that was in one place. Here, we've had problems here recently with our banks and auto industries. People who deal with millions and trillions of dollars who can't balance a budget and who employ hundreds of thousands of people, and that we look to them to manage things properly so that employees can be paid, and they can't do that. And so somehow we allow the government to try to bail them out when there was no bailout. People still lost their jobs with the car companies, banks, Citibank, Merrill Lynch, multiple places, and multiple jobs lost. Well, it's the same now in Spain, and recently, prior to Spain, it was the problem in Greece, and there was impositions or austerity placed upon the Greeks, where they were going to have a severe cut in pay. Maybe it was 5%, but that's a lot when you consider the year. Decrease in your benefits. And that's what Spain is facing. Spain has a 20% unemployment rate, and that's increased steadily over the last 5 years. And so now they're taking measures. I think another important time in history, or a more famous time that this type of thing occurred, was also back in 1950s with in Argentina, when Juan Perón and Eva Perón, there was an overthrow of the government, and somehow Juan Perón rose to leadership within that government, and they were for, everybody being wealthy, okay? They bought up a lot of things that the British owned. They didn't want to have to deal with the U.S. They didn't like the high prices that the U.S. had on things. They wanted to be more self-sufficient. And for that, I congratulate you. But no man's an island. And they became too self-centered. And they were overspending. Not everybody's wealthy. And the government can't pay for everybody to live like a wealthy person. We can't all have Dolce & Gabbana stuff, Christian Dior gowns. What the heck you need that for anyway? But that's how they were trying to live in the 50s in Argentina. So, there was a coup there after they had tried to place different types of austerity measures there. And then, of course, Eva Perón was called Evita. And there you have a musical about this that has taken place and how the country loved them. They were greatly endeared by their people. But unfortunately, they didn't govern well. I don't know what it takes to govern well. It apparently takes self-control. Because to govern oneself, we need to be in control. And in control of our own spending. Yes, I'm preaching to me also. Control my spending, go without, which is really not going without at all. We have so much. And everybody else do the same. The government can't pay for everything. Because we are the ones who provide the government with money. And we're not, our pockets aren't endless. We don't have money trees growing here. Yes, we need certain social services. Yes, I'm for that. But there needs to be limitations. We cannot provide housing, food, clothing for everyone all the time. If there's a crisis in a family's lives or an individual's life, help them. Put them on welfare. Get them through this time. Counsel, rehabilitate, and get them on their feet and slowly, progressively back off so that they're independent and functional. And then take up the next person. But only have a certain amount of people this can be available for. It cannot be available for everybody. We cannot continue the way we're going. Something must be done. I admire and am amazed that so many people turned out for such a display in Spain. But maybe it's because they're highly unionized, and that is able to get people out in big groups. I'm a registered nurse. We don't have unions here in Alabama for registered nurses. However, I understand California does, and the nurses in California have a greater pay than we do per hour. They have a certain amount of patients they can handle, and there are probably other benefits that I'm unaware of. But how long can that go on? I don't know. I'm thankful I'm not the president. I'm thankful I'm not a governor. I wish them wisdom. I pray for their wisdom. And I just hope that we all try to take a look at not just what's happening here at home, but it's taking place all around the world. And I wonder where we're going to end up. Who owns us? We're all indebted to somebody, and unless we're on our own 2 feet, I think we're going to find ourselves in some big trouble. What do you think?